How to live with lupus well. Is it even possible? In this video, I bring you a holistic approach to living well with lupus once you've been diagnosed. These practices also apply to other conditions like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, MS, and other conditions that are considered inflammatory or autoimmune. I'm dedicating this video in particular to Sarah, a fellow Lupi who right now is suffering greatly, but is also doing great work amongst the lupus community to gather us together and have a voice at Congress. She is actually going to be one of the big advocates at the Lupus Awareness Summit happening in Congress in early March of this year. So I dedicate this video to her, and you can follow her on Instagram at The Lupus Trainer. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Karen, a holistic psychotherapist and a certified clinical aromatherapist, and I bring you videos on holistic well-being so that you can live your most optimal life, even with lupus. If you like these kinds of videos, please consider subscribing to my channel by hitting the subscribe button down below. And if you like this video, do hit the thumbs up as well. In this video, you will get a 7-step holistic approach to living your life well with lupus. And it is something that you will be immediately able to apply in your life today. No matter how mild or severe your lupus is, I do believe that following these 7 practices can enhance your life. I am in no way recommending that you stop your medications if you're on medication, and I do advise you to continue working with your medical care team. We all need a medical care team when you've been diagnosed with lupus. And if you're having an acute flare at this moment, then this video might not be what you need right now, though I want you to see this as your long-term strategy. So still continue watching this video for your long-term approach to living well with lupus. I will be discussing natural solutions as well as holistic solutions to living well with lupus. And this means that I want you to first see yourself as a whole person, a person with a body, a mind, a heart, and a soul. Lupus really does kick your butt, and that extrapolates to how we think about life or ourselves, how we see the world, as well as it really kicks our butt spiritually as well, in the sense that it really has us questioning the very meaning of life sometimes. So, a holistic approach brings you tools to deal with lupus physically, emotionally, and mentally, as well as spiritually. I really hope that you stick around so that you can learn how to reduce inflammation and stress in your life and really have a chance at living well with lupus. A quote that I really like is, and I invite you to start seeing it that way as well, is your health is an investment and not an expense. We really do need to invest in our health with energy, time, and a little bit of money so that we can live our most optimal life. It's really not an expense. Our well-being really depends on us investing in our health. So my brief story is that 12 years ago, I was diagnosed with lupus. I had this malar rash, which is this butterfly or wolf-like rash across the face that just wouldn't heal. And that's why it's called lupus. It's because this is the telltale sign, this wolf-like rash across your face. And I was also experiencing immobilizing fatigue, headaches, digestive disturbance, chronic body tension, difficulty regulating my body temperature, a poor response to stress, especially emotional stress, sleep disturbance, as well as nausea, and thankfully only 1 organ failure in the last 12 years. I attribute that to the fact that I've been lucky, and also I have been following this 7-step holistic approach that I'm presenting to you today. One of the first things that I did when I was diagnosed with lupus is that I changed my diet to a gluten-free diet. We now know that wheat, and in particular the substance called gluten in wheat, is an inflammatory substance, and so it goes to really inflame our gut, and that in effect affects our immune system and many of our symptoms. And so adopting a gluten-free diet for me has been really helpful. It really improved my life significantly. I have much less digestive disturbance, much less fatigue, less bloating, and as well it has improved my energy level. So now when I see a product that has wheat in it or gluten in it, I see in my mind's eye that that is poison or toxic to me. I actually see flashing lights, toxin, poison, and that really keeps me away from eating that substance. It's really not worth it to me to have that cake, that pizza, that pasta, or that pastry because I'm gonna suffer greatly afterwards, and it's really not worth it to me. So maybe try to see these substances as poisons to you as well. The second significant thing that I changed in my life was that I adopted a completely plant-based diet. So I became vegan. Not only vegan where you can eat Twinkies and Oreos, but one where it was completely plant-based. And I really did my research. I really did not want to harm myself, and so I did research and got educated and realized that you really can get all of your protein needs met with a vegan diet, and as well, a plant-based diet is much healthier for us than the standard American diet. So I worked with a nutritionist named Kimberly Snyder, and I'll link her information down below because she is available for everybody, and I do invite you to work with her as well so that she can develop a personalized dietary plan for you. You don't have to be vegan, but she really works at figuring out all the nutrients that you need and then giving you a diet that would help you live your most optimal life. Since being vegan, I have found that I have more energy, less flare-ups, and less body inflammation. I also feel like my vibration is lighter, which I think has to do with the fact that being vegan and a commitment to being nonviolent towards animals really aligns with my values. I value deeply kindness towards animal, and eating a vegan diet allows me to extend that value into the world. And so I think when we align ourselves with our values and act in alignment with our values, it really fulfills us at a deep, deep soul level. So to me, being vegan really speaks to my soul at a deep level. If you have any questions about diet for lupus, please do comment below and I will try to direct you as best as I can. I do recognize that being vegan is not for everyone, but I do think that a plant-based diet is one that is the most healthy diet plan around, and it will reduce your inflammation. So with lupus, we have to remember to do everything that we can to reduce inflammation. And so consider maybe eating a few vegan meals per week, meaning they're plant-based. There is no meat product in them. That too will go a long way to reduce inflammation in your body. So now, let's dive into the 7 holistic practices that can help you live your most optimal life. If you have lupus or know someone who has lupus, please share this video with them, as these practices will help reduce stress as well as reduce inflammation in their body. The first practice is sleep and rest. Aim to get 8 to 9 hours of restful sleep per night and take your naps when you can. Sleep really is the #1 foundation of health, and when we don't have restful sleep, our health suffers. If you're having trouble getting restful sleep, do consider supplements like melatonin or essential oils like lavender and Roman chamomile that you can apply before bedtime to help you fall asleep. It's recommended to keep the room temperature relatively cool during sleep, and the recommended degrees are 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, although 63 to 65 seems to be ideal. And consider having blackout curtains on your windows so that you can block out all light while you're while you're sleeping. And consider as well not keeping your electronics in your bedroom, as the little lights that they emit can wake you up or make you have trouble falling back asleep. As well, consider 1 hour before you go to sleep, shutting down the electronics. So your tablet, your TV, your phone, just putting them aside. That signals to your brain that it's time to fall asleep, and it will prepare you well for restful sleep. You can also take a bath, a warm bath with essential oils like with lavender and Roman chamomile, or salts or colloidal oatmeal, which will go to soothe your skin. Again, prior to bed, maybe a half hour prior to bed. When we take a bath, it raises our body temperature, and then when we go to inside our bed under the sheets, our body temperature then goes down, and that again signals to the brain to fall asleep. So it's a little natural strategy to help you fall asleep. A shower will do the same thing. An additional strategy comes from Ayurvedic medicine, and it's a self-massage, a self-healing massage called Abhyanga. Watch for future videos on Ayurvedic medicine, as I will be putting some out to teach you how to do this self-massage. We have an inner pharmacy that gets unlocked when we massage ourselves in certain ways using these specialized oils called herbalized oils. So do watch for those videos. The second practice is our food, or what we eat. Our diet is the second foundation of health, and we just can't get around it. We have to eat better if we want to live a more optimal life. We need to eat real food, whole foods, and really get rid of the crap food, the fake foods, the processed foods. They're really not good for our system, and they're inflammatory. It is also best to eat without being rushed, not in front of the TV, and not while we're working. We absorb our nutrients better, and just the nutrients get processed better and then absorbed better when we are in a non-rushed state. So it's recommended to eat mindfully. So be with your food, look at your food, feel the textures in your mouth, and really have a calm environment around eating. As well, we should eat organic. There's no reason to go into that anymore. We know we should eat organic. We should eat foods that are not genetically modified, have not been grown with herbicides and pesticides or other chemicals like growth hormones or antibiotics. We really need to eat our food that is as pure as possible. Everything else, all these added chemicals do go to change our chemistry or create inflammation, and it really stresses our system. I do believe that a gluten-free diet is a must if you have an inflammatory condition. As well, try dairy-free, because the casein, which is a protein in milk, is also an inflammatory substance. So if you can go gluten-free and dairy-free, you'll have a better chance at reducing inflammation in your body, and so you'll have less lupus symptoms. The kinds of foods that you should favor are superfoods, what's called nutrient-dense foods, like leafy greens, think kale and broccoli, Swiss chard, dandelion greens, as well as blueberries, dates, nuts, and seeds like chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, and raw cocoa. But most importantly, eat sprouts. And the reason for that is that sprouts contain the entire DNA of the plant that it will grow into. And so it is the food that has the most vitality on earth. And if we're suffering from lupus, we know that we need all the vitality that we can get. So eat sprouts at every meal if you can. As well, do eat fruits. Don't be afraid to eat fruit. Fruit contains the right kind of sugar, or the best kind of sugar for us. And the theory is that the brain's main fuel is glucose, and the fruit sugar changes into glucose. And so our brain can run very efficiently on glucose. Remember that when we have lupus, our adrenal system is really taxed. And so we need to do everything that we can to support our adrenal glands. When we're low on glucose, what the body and brain does is it forces our adrenal glands to excrete its hormones or its chemicals like adrenaline and norepinephrine, and to give our brain energy. But in the long term, what that does is it creates conditions like adrenal fatigue. So if we eat fruit every 2 to 3 hours, the theory is that we would be giving our brain the glucose that it needs, and so it will not have to force our adrenal glands to produce chemicals to give us fuel. So consider protecting your adrenal glands by eating fruit every 3 to 4 hours and see if that improves your energy level. There's nothing wrong with eating fruit. There's even theories now that even diabetics can eat the real fruit. And so just test that out for yourself and see if it improves your energy level. The next food item to ingest is celery juice, organic celery juice. 16 ounces of organic celery juice first thing in the morning before you've done anything else. So before you've taken other supplements or medicines, before you've had breakfast or coffee or tea. And why is that recommended? Well, celery juice reduces inflammation, reduces brain fog, helps restore the adrenal glands, kills the Epstein-Barr virus and shingles virus, raises the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and so you have better digestion. And it heals eczema, psoriasis, and acne, as well as reduces anxiety and depression. There is an emerging theory that's getting more and more press out there that lupus is not an autoimmune disease where the body attacks itself. but rather lupus is the body's intelligent response to the byproducts and neurotoxins produced by a virus, namely the Epstein-Barr virus. And I have tested positive for the Epstein-Barr virus since I was 15. This theory has been put forth by Anthony Williams, the medical medium, and he is all over social media, so you can Google him, you can look him up on any social media network and really delve into his theories. He also has many, many books, including The Secrets to Chronic and Mystery Illnesses, which this quote comes from that book. And in there, Anthony Williams says that lupus is the body having an allergic reaction to these neurotoxins, which then elevates the inflammatory markers that doctors search for to identify and diagnose lupus. In truth, lupus is just a viral infection of the Epstein-Barr virus. So he's saying that this Epstein-Barr virus creates neurotoxins, and that is how our body has an allergic reaction to those neurotoxins and dermatoxins, and so it creates inflammation and the symptoms that we see in lupus. So lupus is possibly a viral infection? Interesting. How can we treat that naturally? Well, with celery juice. Anthony Williams says that over a period of 12 to 18 months, celery juice will go to kill the Epstein-Barr virus. It is the cluster of salts found in celery, in the juice of celeries, that's as yet undiscovered by the medical community that kills the Epstein-Barr virus. I myself think that that theory is so interesting that I've committed myself to 12 months of organic celery juicing first thing in the morning. I am on month number 4, and I can say that my energy level has definitely improved. I have less frequent headaches, and the one thing that I wasn't expecting is that throughout the day, every day, I get these sudden bursts of joy. I don't know if that's a typical occurrence with celery juice, but that is what I'm experiencing, and for that alone, I will continue drinking celery juice in the morning for a period of 12 months. So see what it can do for you. It might really help reduce inflammation in your body, for one, and it even might help you just feel that much better living with lupus. I also recommend drinking 1 to 3 green smoothies per day. So think smoothies chock full of kale, broccoli, spinach, cucumbers, anything green, and then with some fruits. There are great recipes available online. In particular, I recommend Kimberly Snyder's Glowing Green Smoothie. It's all over the internet, but I will put a link down below. I drink that almost every day, and it's a smoothie that is chock full of nutrients. So when we're dealing with an inflammatory condition, we need foods that are chock full of nutrients so that it can best help us fight this inflammation. Another good source is Dr. Brooke Goldner's Smoothie Shred Challenge. It's another green smoothie, and she herself has suffered from lupus since the age of 15 and has healed herself from lupus following this green smoothie and her other natural healing practices. So I will link her down below because I do think she's a great resource. When you shop for groceries, think about walking the perimeter of the store and purchase foods that are on this perimeter. This is where the organic vegetables and fruits hang out, the organic meats and the eggs, the fresh whole foods, that's where they hang out. Forget about the middle aisles, because that's where you'll find the packaged foods, the fake foods, and the foods that really we don't need to eat when we have lupus. So the foods to avoid when you have lupus are sugar. Sugar is just an inflammatory substance, so try to minimize or avoid it completely. As well, gluten and casein are inflammatory substances, so if you can try a gluten-free diet and a dairy-free diet, that would be the best. Hydrogenated oils are also pretty bad for us because they cause inflammation, so avoid oils like canola, soy, or safflower oil. Avoid processed white wheat like pastries, breads, cookies, cakes. Avoid white rice and corn, as corn is an inflammatory substance. And finally, avoid food additives and preservatives. The foods to favor are the good oils like coconut oil, olive oil, grapeseed oil, and avocado oil. Favor the nutrient-dense foods or the superfoods like dark leafy greens, blueberries, fruit, vegetables, seeds, and nuts. Favor foods high in omega-3s like wild-caught salmon, wild-caught cod. And if you're vegan or vegetarian, you can take a supplement, a vegan omega-3 supplement. Focus on 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams per day. The third holistic approach to living well with lupus are herbs and supplements. The following herbs reduce inflammation: ginger, turmeric, cumin, rosemary, and cilantro. So when you're cooking with fresh herbs or dried herbs, do put these herbs in your food. When it comes to supplements, focus on the supplements that support the adrenal glands and help you cope with stress better. Good supplements to consider are ashwagandha, which improves adrenal fatigue, lemon balm, which calms the nerves and supports the adrenal glands, licorice root, which reduces adrenal fatigue, fights Epstein-Barr virus and improves digestion, lysine, which also fights the Epstein-Barr virus, vitamin B12, which is necessary, especially if you're vegan or vegetarian, vitamin C, 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams per day, though it may give you diarrhea, so if it does, just reduce your dose, as well as zinc, which is antiviral, and probiotics are a must because they improve gut health, and it's recommended to get between 30 and 80 billion international units per day. In a previous video, I warned that ashwagandha can stimulate your immune system, and so if you have an autoimmune disease, it might not be helpful, but I've been using ashwagandha for over 10 years and it has never created any ill effect in me. In fact, it is the herb that I use the most because it really helps me cope with stress better. It's just one of those herbs I find that I can't live without. A product that is worthy of mention is HPA Adapt by Integrative Therapeutics. It was designed specifically for conditions like lupus, where our response to stress is impacted. HPA stands for hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal gland axis. So when you have a condition like lupus, that system, which helps modulate our response to stress, is affected. And so the herbs in this supplements are 5 adaptogenic herbs, and they go to help us respond better to stress. Included in this supplement is ashwagandha, maca, eleuthero, rhodiola, and holy basil. The fourth holistic practice when you want to try to live well with lupus is essential oils. The use of 100% pure therapeutic grade essential oils. And here I invite you to watch my other videos on how to use essential oils, why that grade of essential oil matters, as well as my top 10 essential oils of all time. So essential oils are the potent liquids pressed from plants, and it is what nature or what plants use to defend themselves against invaders. So plants use their own essential oil to fight off bacteria, viruses, and fungi. And all essential oils have an antibacterial component. They're antifungal, they're antiviral, and many of them are also anti-inflammatory. And essential oils are really medicines, so I want you to treat them as medicines. Get a really high quality essential oil and then only use 1 to 3 drops at a time for a dose. And I'd like to teach you to make your own do-it-yourself lupus blend today. And that blend includes 10 drops of lavender, and I want you to get Lavandula angustifolia, not lavandin or lavender spike. They just don't have the same medicinal properties as Lavandula angustifolia. So 10 drops of lavender, 5 drops of myrrh, 3 drops of nutmeg, and 4 drops of Eucalyptus globulus. So I'll repeat that: 10 drops of lavender, 5 drops of myrrh, 3 drops of nutmeg, and 4 drops of Eucalyptus globulus. This is a relaxing and anti-inflammatory blend that you can apply neat, which means undiluted, to the soles of your feet 3 times a day, and one of those times being before bed. If you don't want to apply it neat, you can also put it in a carrier oil at a ratio of 50-50, so 50% carrier oil, 50% essential oil. And the oil you can use could be something like jojoba oil, coconut oil, olive oil, or your favorite body oil. And that you can massage all over your body, again, 3 times a day, and it will go to relax you as well as create an anti-inflammatory response. You can also diffuse it in a diffuser, like this one right here, and you can add it to your bath water when you're taking a bath. Other essential oils to consider to reduce inflammation and create a relaxing response when you have lupus is Roman chamomile and frankincense. Frankincense is one of the most anti-inflammatory oils out there. And another one to consider is Atlas cedarwood. It also is very anti-inflammatory and relaxing. The fifth practice. Our beliefs are our best predictors of our health outcomes. So it's really important to get in touch with what our health beliefs are. Do we believe that we are helpless or victims, or do we believe that we can effect positive change in our life? If we believe that we can effect positive change in our life, then our chance of living well with lupus is that much greater. So it's very important to get access to our thoughts via working with a therapist cognitively. With a healthy mindset, I do believe that your lupus symptoms can be greatly reduced. Working with a therapist will help keep depression at bay, as well as help you identify what your own triggers to lupus are. Sometimes it begins as a thought or as a very, very small physical symptom, and working with a therapist will help you identify what they are so that you can really act on them quickly and prevent a full-on flare-up, or possibly prevent a full-on flare-up. As well, working with a therapist will help you develop your own individualized stress reduction program. It's really important to find a therapist that you can connect with, one where you feel it's a good fit. If you are currently in therapy and not feeling that connection with your therapist, I do invite you to keep shopping around. It is absolutely okay to do that, because finding a therapist where you have a good fit will make all the difference in your treatment. And if you don't have access to a therapist in your community, or you live in a remote area, there are great online organizations that do it online, that do therapy online. Go to betterhelp.com and talkspace.com. So these two will be out-of-pocket expenses. Your insurance will not cover them, but many insurances now do cover what's called telemedicine, which is therapy from the comforts of your own home. So you can be at home talking to a therapist via the internet or your a special program on your phone. And I have positioned myself to be able to offer that service. So I do encourage you to look at your plan, your insurance plan, to see if you're covered for telemedicine. The sixth practice is to grow your wolf pack. Lupus is a really debilitating illness, and I don't think that we can do lupus well alone. We need to be surrounded by loved ones. Sometimes it's just because we need them. We need someone to hold our hair back while we're vomiting, or we need someone to cook for us because we just don't have the energy to feed ourselves well, or we need someone to take care of the kids or our dogs or pets. So it's really important to reach out to your immediate wolf pack and ask for assistance. But there's also this larger wolf pack, the lupus wolf pack, and there's a hashtag lupus wolf pack. And this email just came in from Sarah, the lupus trainer, actually defining what the wolf pack is, and I'd like to read that to you today. So, the mission of the wolf pack is to bring together lupus warriors, advocates, caregivers, and supporters to share our stories, advocate for better treatments and healthcare, and to provide support and a safe place for those who are still hiding and suffering in isolation. Sarah says that we are louder when we band together, and now there are enough of us to make a real ruffle and create some real change. Last year, the lupus advocates made enough noise on Capitol Hill to receive $14 million towards lupus drug research. This is happening again this year. Between March 3rd and 5th, there's a lupus summit, and Sarah will be representing all of us and the wolf pack to really give us a voice at the Congress level. So I thank you, Sarah, for bringing our wolf pack together and giving us a voice on Capitol Hill. So consider getting involved with various organizations such as lupus.org, Lupus Foundation, the Lupus Research Alliance, among other things, other organizations, and as well, if you want to join a support group, there is one at carenity.com, and I'll link that down below. Also follow social media, people who suffer from lupus, such as the Lupus Trainer, at Goodbye Lupus, at Eat Pray Lupus, at Lupus Health Shop, and me at Holistic Karen. And the seventh practice, or holistic practice, to live well with lupus is self-care and spiritual practices. I recommend between 30 minutes to an hour a day of you time. Time by yourself where you are not engaged in interaction with people, not engaged with television or social media, but really focusing on yourself and going inwards. I'll give you some suggestions if you're a little bit lost as to how to engage in self-care. Yoga is a really great practice as it is very deeply restorative. Massage, either getting one professionally or doing one yourself via what's called Abhyanga, and I will be teaching you how to do that in the future. You can engage in skincare and body care rituals. You can read inspirational books and poetry, things that really lift you up. You can engage in your bathing rituals with nice essential oils such as lavender and chamomile, or bath salts. Epsom salts are really anti-inflammatory. You can listen to soothing music and create your own soothing playlist for this you time. You can journal or engage in a gratitude practice where you list 3 to 5 things per day that you are grateful for. You can pray or talk to your God or your higher power. Meditation is also a great tool, and I recommend 20 to 30 minutes once or twice a day, preferably one of those times in the morning, but it really doesn't matter as long as you can sit still for 20 to 30 minutes doing either a guided meditation, a breathing meditation, or a mantra meditation. Again, meditation is deeply restful and restorative, and will go really a long way at helping you heal internally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually from lupus. Another great practice is pranayama. This will go a long way to reduce your stress, and that is breathing techniques. So please watch my video, I'll link it up here, on how to heal holistically from anxiety, as I do guide you through a practice called Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, which is alternate nostril breathing. And I do recommend 5 to 15 minutes of pranayama per day. It will go a long way to reduce your stress internally. You can also dance, and you can write or engage in a creative, expressive project. All that's required of you, my friend, is to do your best. Some days your best will be being able to complete your to-do list, or being able to do grocery shopping, or being able to exercise. And some days your best will be simply just to get out of bed, or simply to take a shower. And that's okay. Really be okay with where you are at. All that's required is that you do your best wherever you are that day. So please consider yourself as a whole person, a person with a body, a mind, a heart, and a soul. And as your lifelong approach to living well with lupus, do consider the 7 holistic practices mentioned in this video. Please comment below and let me know where you are at in your lupus journey. As well, if you'd like to join my newsletter, please go to KarenJohnston.com. I wish you a lifetime of health, one where you experience vitality and joy. I thank you for watching this video. Bye.